start with the basic of the first model that was given by Thomson's. So basically, Thomson said that the entire positive charge, see, charges were discovered by Franklin. He said that two groups of charges are present. Electronic charge, see, the concept of charge was discovered by Coulomb, who gave the Coulomb's laws. But Franklin told that two types of charges are existing. Positive charges are existing and negative charges are existing. We are not, means he was not concerned with what are these negative charges, what are these positive charges, are there other charges also present apart from these? No. He said that two types of charges are existing. So by the time Thomson was there, so this was already into the system that yes, charges are there. Means positive charges are present and negative charges are present. So this was already clear that yeah, two types of charges are existing. Okay. Now, coming to this Thomson's model, he said that the entire positive charge is spread like this, what I'm drawing. Completely filled. This is how the entire positive charge was present and spread like this continuously in an atom. We know that this is wrong. This does not occur, but earlier that was said. And what about the negative charges then? The negative charges were placed in it like this. So this appears also like the watermelon. So this was named as the watermelon model. Okay. So this appeared like the inside part of the watermelon. So he said that the red part of the watermelon, the way the red part is present, completely red part is present, intact. So that is the positive charge. And the way seeds are present and embedded in it, that is the negative charge, he said. Or plum pudding model, like a pudding is present and how resins and plums and those dry fruits are present, like embedded on the top surface. So like that. So let's read Thomson's model. First model of atom was proposed by J.J. Thomson. One thing, Memuna, get the notes printed. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
First 15 pages are of dual nature. Just 15 pages are. This looks a very lengthy 71 pages document. If you see that there are very less pages, only 15 pages for the dual nature, 18 pages for atom like this. And see, if you even have the notes, you don't have to write anything. You just need to study. And whatever
Okay.
things I tell you, you'll be able to write it at the margins of the page only. So this way
Okay.
you'll have everything together. So get them printed, it will be beneficial for you. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
The first model of atom was proposed by J.J. Thomson in 1898. According to this model, the positive charge of the atom is uniformly distributed throughout the volume of atom, and the negative charged electrons are embedded in it like seeds in a watermelon. And this model was picturesquely called the plum pudding model of the atom. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Then alpha particle experiment was done by Rutherford, and he said no, this isn't possible, that positive charges are continuously present. Why? He said, see, he described this entire setup. So basically, there was this source of alpha particles. So alpha particles are positively charged particles. Okay. So these alpha particles are present, which have the charge of two electrons, mass of 4 protons. So these alpha particles were there. These lead bricks were present, and this was like the way we have seen a single slit diffraction. So like this, a slit was kept open for the alpha particles to come. Now, the beam of alpha particles has been thrown, and there's a very thin gold sheet. Like you have aluminium foil. If
Yes.
at the thickness of aluminium foil, it's so delicate that if you try to rub it, it will break off. It cannot
Yes.
hold a high weightage also. We just use it for the packet or just to wrap our food items and all. So even thinner than that. 10 to the power minus 8 meters thick. That is in millimeters. Okay. So this much thin gold foil was taken. Now that's why it is called as the gold foil experiment also. Sometimes the name of this is the gold. It comes by the gold foil experiment. Okay. And one thing in your recent syllabus, I'll show you also. the J.J. Thomson's model, alpha particle, Rutherford's, all are included.
Okay.
You can get questions. Now, the alpha particles come, and this is the gold foil. So now some things were observed. This is the zinc screen. Okay, zinc sulfur screen is present. Mainly, this is not very important. What is important? Let us see. So what he said that this isn't possible that a watermelon kind of structure or a pudding kind of structure is present where positive charges are continuously present. Why? Because he saw that some of the particles, like out of all the beam that was put on the gold foil, he noticed that some of them passed straight away without any deflection, without anything, just straight away. Okay, this was one thing he said. He noticed, he saw some got deviated by certain angle. Some of these got deviated by certain angles, and very few, like 1 out of 8,000, this much, got deflected by 180 degrees. So if this model is correct, then why were the alpha particles able to pass straight positive? That by that time this was concluded that negative positive will attract and positive will repel, or negative will repel. So why aren't all the alpha particles getting deviated by 180 degree? Why only one in a few are getting deviated if this is such a model? So many drawbacks were there for this model. So he said that there is something present inside which is positive. Okay.
Yeah.
There is something which is present inside, and this is positive. Okay.
Okay.
And because of this only, if this is there, then only rest of the phenomena will be applicable. Like alpha particles are positive, so ray of light can be deflected. So yeah, this also proves this fact. Correct. We have proven this. So yeah, X. Now one more thing. You always accept a hypothesis based upon an experiment. If I say something, Memuna, to you, I say, I believe in this particular statement. I just believe in that, like this should be there. And on one hand, I show you one experiment that, yes, you can also see from your eyes, this is happening. So which one will be accepted? Which you are seeing from your eyes. So that's why, since this experiment was conducted, like there's a question of why this was incorrect and why this was correct.
Yes.
The issue is that this wasn't done experimentally. The experiment says you can see this happened. So why does it happen? Why did it happen? So yeah, this part was right. And then, so it means he named this structure as the nucleus. He said there is a structure where all the positive charges are accumulated. That is the nucleus. Because of this nucleus only, it was getting deflected also, and it was getting bounced back at 180 degree also. Okay. Now, he said that nucleus. You're asking something?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
So he said that nucleus is present, and suppose this is an atom. So he said within this atom, there are electrons present randomly. Like this, electrons are present randomly. There is no proper orbit. Every electron is at separate separation. Different radii for every electron, right? They are just present. So he said that, why did he conclude? Because he said that most of the spaces in atom is vacant. So like this, if I pass an alpha beam of light, it will go straight away. So this was concluded, and yeah, this was proved that this can be true. This is possible that this exists. And he said that the electrons are moving with energies, and they are losing on the energies, and they are moving in the circular manner with different radius around the nucleus. This is what he said. So first let us read the points, and then we'll come to the drawbacks.
Okay.
So this was the experiment. Then they directed a beam of 5.5 mega electron volt alpha particles emitted from bismuth radioactive source at a thin metal foil made of gold of thickness 10 to the power minus. And that is the same experiment. Now, the observations. This is important. Most of the alpha particles pass straight through the gold foil. It means they do not suffer any collision with the gold atoms, right? This is what we saw. Only 0.14% of incident alpha particles scatter by more than 1 degree. Lesser, but they are getting deflected. And very less, 1 in every 8,000 alpha particle is deflected by more than 90 degrees. So basically, if you see the graph, number of alpha particles that are getting deflected, not detected, it is deflected. Versus to the scattering angle, it is inversely proportional. As you increase the number, scattering angle will decrease. But this is not very important. What he concluded, what were the postulates given by him, that were important. So this led Rutherford to postulate that entire positive charge of atom must be concentrated in a tiny central core of the atom, and he named this atomic nucleus. All right.
Okay. Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
few things, see, like this. So this actually was happening in the experiment, according to him. That, see, in the empty space of an atom, it is passing straight. When it is colliding with the positive part, it is getting deflected. And when it is hitting the nucleus, some of them are getting rebounds. This is what he concluded. Like, this came into his mind. Now, he was right, but he didn't tell about the electrons particularly. Like, electrons cannot lose on all the energies. Electrons, if they are losing all the energies, the entire atom will collapse. So we'll come to the drawback. But rest of the things he said was actually correct. We know it's the nucleus that is present. Now, coming to the distance of closest approach. So basically, distance of closest approach is, see, when these alpha particles were coming near the nucleus, there is a point at which they stop. These alpha particles stop, and see, when they are moving, what type of energy is existing?
Positively charged. Positive energy.
No. Whenever any particle is moving, which kind of energy is existing?
Kinetic energy.
Kinetic energy. Half mv square is the formula. So it is always dependent upon the velocity and movement. So yes, kinetic energy is existing. So it had kinetic energy. But do you remember we studied Coulomb's law? And in electrostatics, you must have studied. We'll do it again also. So you must have done the electrostatic energy also, electrostatic potential energy, right? Electrostatic potential energy
Yes.
studied. Potential energy.
No, ma'am, I don't think I studied
Yes, you
that
have.
chapter.
Potential and the second chapter, potential and capacitance. It is based upon potential. U is equal to K, Q1, Q2 by R. If you have not studied, you have missed a major portion. This can come in your exam. This is, I think,
But we didn't do the second. We
I
started from current electricity.
no, not with me.
Okay, in school. Yeah, I missed those chapters because I was not there. I didn't attend those.
Okay. Yeah, we started with current electricity. Our first and second chapters are also left. Some of the chapters, others are also left that we have to do. So coming to this distance of closest approach. So what happens is that we know when two charges meet, electrostatic energy will be there. Coulomb's law, right? Coulomb's law calculates the force. Whenever forces are present, you have potential energy in the system. Okay. So when the alpha particle is moving, kinetic energy is existing. But when it is coming near another charge, positive, negative, anything, now potential energy will be there in your system. Okay, this part is clear? So what
Yes, ma'am.
happens is when the alpha particle is moving, the alpha particle comes, it becomes very slow and it stops. Okay.
Okay.
So at which point it is stopping? This is the nucleus. Nucleus is having the positive charges. This alpha particle is having the positive charges. So basically when it was moving, it stopped. So kinetic energy has stopped and it is getting converted to the potential energy, right? Because now two charges are present. They have forces on each other. Whenever in your system you have potential energy, there is a force hidden behind it. So kinetic energy was there, body stopped. So the kinetic energy got converted to potential energy. Now this distance from the nucleus at which it is stopping, It is called the distance of closest approach. Is it clear? You've understood, Memuna?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So
Yes,
an
ma'am, it's
alpha
clear.
particle traveling directly towards the center of the nucleus slows down as it approaches the nucleus. Now, at a distance of closest approach from the nucleus, the alpha particles come to rest and its kinetic energy is completely converted into electrostatic potential energy. So this distance, see, right now it was moving, it was moving, it was moving. It stopped here. So here
Yeah.
kinetic energy was there. But when it stopped, two charges are present. Both the charges are existing. So this is the potential energy. So kinetic energy, potential energy. Kinetic energy is getting converted to potential energy. So how can we write this? See, kinetic energy is half mv square. Charge on alpha particle is 2e. Charge on the nucleus, we write Ze, because you don't know the nucleus of which atom. Helium,
Yes.
beryllium, calcium, which atom. So we have to take it generally, generalized. So we say Ze. Ze is the atomic number that you must be knowing, no? From the periodic table. Z.
Oh,
Z is the atomic number. Okay.
okay.
From the periodic table, you have to see it for the elements. So that, yeah, periodic table, just go through it because atoms is completely related to your periodic table. You will be getting materials, iron, and like this, nickel and all. So just go through periodic table. You just have to remember the order. So when we write potential energy, the formula of potential energy, now I'll tell you, is
Okay.
K, that is 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught. Okay. Q1, the first charge, multiplied to Q2, the second charge, divided by the separation between the charges. This is what is the potential energy, electrostatic potential energy. Two charges are present. Let's say Q1 is present, Q2 is present. So this is how the potential energy between them is written. So if I say here,
Yeah.
K is the constant, that is 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught. What is the first charge? Charge of the alpha particle, that is 2e. What is the charge of the nucleus? Ze. Divided by what is their separation? That is the distance of closest approach R naught. So see, this has been mentioned here, 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught into 2e Ze by R naught. This is the potential energy. Kinetic energy is half mv square. From here, you have the formula of R naught. This is the distance of closest approach. 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught, 2 Ze square by half mv square. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Just write down the potential energies part. Make a note point and just write.
Yeah.
Now, look, Memuna. Once you have written this potential energy part.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So rest of the things are there in your notes. Now, coming to impact parameter.
Okay, ma'am.
Basically, we talked about that some of the molecules of atom, that is the alpha particles, they got deflected, right? Now, if they got
Yes.
deflected, so from the center of the atom, okay, if from the center of this atom, I'm taking a perpendicular distance up to which the deflection has occurred. This is called the impact parameter. Its formula, see, so let's say this is deflected by this angle, theta. So what all things are there? See, just look at the formula of it. See, B is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught, means K, Z E square, okay, cot theta by 2. Theta by 2 means this theta, okay, divided by the kinetic energy. Okay, which if you have the velocity given, so write it as half mv.
Okay.
Like this. So this is the impact parameter. Okay, this is the impact. So you just have to remember the formula in these. This is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's see the Rutherford's atoms model finally. What we have studied. Okay, let us see what actually did he give. We just talked randomly, no? He said that, he said that. Let's see what all things he has given. So he says an atom may be regarded as sphere of diameter 10 to the power minus 10. You don't need to remember any of the values. Remember the content, sentence.
Okay.
But whole of the positive charge and almost entire mass of the atom is concentrated in a smaller center core, that is the nucleus, whose diameter is 10 to the power minus 14 meters. Then he says the nucleus is surrounded by electrons and the electrons are spread over the remaining part. That's why you have plenty of space in an atom where the lines could pass straight away.
Yes.
The point he says, an atom is electrically neutral. Means he said that whatever is the amount of positive charge held within the nucleus is exactly the amount of electrons which are present within that space. So it's electrically neutral. Total positive charge is equal to total negative charge. Fourth point, electrons are revolving around the nucleus in circular orbits. So if they are revolving in circular orbits, if any atom or anything is revolving in a circular orbit, means something is providing the necessary centripetal force. So the electrostatic force, that is the Coulomb's law force, kq1 q2 by r square, is providing the centripetal force. This is what was said by him. Okay. So most of the things he said was right. But the issue is that the electrons, can you not see that if I ask you without telling you what's the real structure, like now you know. But if we didn't know this and I ask you draw the structure of an atom based on what Rutherford said, you will be able to draw the nucleus properly, but you will get a vague idea, no? Where should I put the electrons?
Yes.
Like here or here, like that. So issue was that one was that it didn't tell the stability of the atom. No stability was mentioned. Why wasn't the atom stable? Because if electrons are just moving like this round and round, they are emitting energy, losing energy, losing energy. Ultimately, every energy will be lost.
Yes.
All the energies are lost. Will the electron be in a stable condition to move around the nucleus? No.
No.
Because every energy has been lost.
Yes.
Ultimately, it will fall into the nucleus. So if electrons are gradually falling into the nucleus, that is just collapsing our atom. And this doesn't happen. The atom is a stable structure which is existing.
Yes.
So he said, this Rutherford said that, okay, fine, these things, spaces are existing and everything. He said that was fine. But there were drawbacks. So let's read the drawbacks. When the electrons revolve around the nucleus, they are continuously accelerated towards the center of the nucleus. So Lorentz said that according to Lorentz, an accelerated charged particle should radiate energy continuously. Therefore, in the atom, a revolving electron should continuously emit energy, and the radius will decrease like a spiral. So it will decrease, 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 and ultimately fall into the nucleus. When if electrons start falling into the nucleus, atoms are destroyed. So Rutherford couldn't explain the stability of the atom. Second point, he said that, yeah, we have not done the line spectrum and all. The spectrum part is there in your syllabus. We'll do it. So he says if the Rutherford's atom model is true, the electron can revolve in orbits of all possible radii, and hence it should emit continuous energy spectrum. So, however, the atoms like hydrogen possess line spectrum. This will be very much clear when we do the line spectrum. Now, before we start with the Bohr's atomic model, just take two to 3 minutes. Just go through till here because Bohr's atomic model is very important.
Okay, ma'am.
Have the PDF, you have the notes?
Yes, ma'am.
Just go through them once, take 2 to 3 minutes. After that, I'll start with the Bohr's atomic model.
Okay, ma'am.
We don't have to write down things, we have to discuss it. So it will be, we'll be able to do it, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Maimuna, can we continue now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Maimuna. So see, this question, not this question, this topic of Bohr's atomic model. Before anything, one point let's come, and then we'll see the postulates. So see, if there
Okay.
is a wave, see, this is a wave. So this part of the wave, this is called the wavelength, right?
Yes. Yes.
If I just have a wave and I turn it, curve it, and join the ends of it. So see, I'll get a structure like this,
Yes.
right? So let's
Yes.
say n number of wavelengths are there because we don't know. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, n number is there. So what is the total wavelength equal to? It's actually equal to the circumference of the circle. Yes, I
Yes.
have
Yes.
more it. It's like a straight wire you have and you're turning it into a circle. So whatever was the length of the wire is now the circumference of the circle. So you can say n lambda is equal to 2 pi r, where your n is 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay. Now, you have not attended the class. We have a concept of de Broglie's wavelength. So the formula is h by mv.
Okay.
We put it here, and h by mv, this is equal to 2 pi r. Now, if I
Okay.
bring this 2 pi downwards, mv r this side. So basically, mvr, if you remember, is the formula of angular momentum. So angular
Okay.
momentum is basically r cross p. So that's why we have the formula mvr. So finally, angular momentum can be written as n times h by 2 pi. nh by 2 pi. Okay, this is the formula of angular momentum here. Before we go to the postulates,
Okay.
write down this part because this is not there in the notes. Okay, just write down this part. Okay. So now let's come to the postulates. So he said that he told about the stability of atom. That he said, no, this isn't like that. Electrons are just keep on moving with any kind of energy and they are just losing energy, losing energy. No, this isn't like this. Electrons have fixed level of energy. They have a definite energy. And when that definite energy is reached to an electron, then only it keeps on revolving. It is not like that it is just keep on losing and wasting energy. So that's why there was the stability of atom concluded. So Bohr's first postulate was that an electron in an atom could revolve in certain stable orbits without the emission of radiant energy, contrary to the prediction of EM theory. Now, according to the postulate, each atom has certain definite stable state in which it can exist, and each possible state has definite energy. Like if you're teaching a class 6 standard student, so the paper that you will assign, you will not say that the 6 standard student has such a less syllabus, how he will be able to solve the question paper of class 12. So no, the
Yes.
answer is no. Why would he get the question paper of class 12th? He'll
Yes.
get the question paper of class 6th only. So like this only, when that paper is cleared, then the next class is reached. Then the difficulty level is increased. You are not going to put your 12th board's physics paper to the class 6 student. So this energy was
Yes.
also like this, a stable energy depending upon the capacity of the electron. And this steady level where the electrons were existing, that was called as the stationary states of the atom. Second one, I have discussed that angular momentum is quantized, that is integral multiple of h by 2 pi. What is h? H is the Planck's constant. For this part, you have to refer to the dual nature.
Okay.
Study dual nature, Memuna, for the next class. Okay. Now, please study them properly. Okay. Dual nature, whatever part we'll be doing in atoms. Now, third, he said that Bohr said that, see, electrons are present. This is the nucleus, and around this are the various stable orbits. He said that electrons are existing and are present within the orbit. Now, if the electron is here and this electron is, let's say, going to this level, so this will be the initial energy of the electron. This will be the final energy of the electron. So remember, usually if I ask you, normally, if I say this is the initial energy of the electron, this is the final energy of the electron, what will be the change in energy that you will tell me? Change in energy.
It is
I'm telling you the initial energy, I've told you. The final energy, I'm telling you. Then?
Initial energy will change.
So what's the change in energy? Initially, it is 3 joules. Finally, it is 5 joules. What is the change in energy?
2.
So E final minus E initial. That is what is the change. No, usually it is E final minus initial. But I'll tell you one thing. Whichever electron is closer to the nucleus, that energy is higher. We'll see a formula minus 13.6 by n square electron volt. Through that, this is concluded. So since this energy is greater, we write it as E initial minus E final. Okay?
Okay,
Now, the change in energy, again, dual nature is equal to h nu. So this you have to refer to the previous class. So the change means h nu will be equal to E initial minus E final. That is the third postulate of Bohr. Now, coming to the Bohr's theory of hydrogen atom. This is very easy also to understand. So in hydrogen atom, see, this whole unit is very easy, Memuna.
Okay, ma'am.
Not your usual phobia of physics chapter. Okay, you'll be able to deal this easily. Okay, optics is tough. You need practice there. But this unit, no, this is that unit where you have to put in less efforts and you can get good scores. So easy formula-based questions are there. Now the syllabus is also reduced. So please study dual nature and atoms completed by Thursday. At least this much you have to do.
Yes.
Completely, thoroughly do dual nature. Okay, because now time is not there. This is just ending.
Yes.
So radius of the hydrogen atom, he took hydrogen atom. So in hydrogen atom, because it is a single electron species, right? So he did all
Yes.
the experiments in this. So that is the limitation also. That what about the other species then? But anyways, we have to study this first. So in hydrogen atom, E is the charge, Rn is the separation from the nucleus. Okay. V is the velocity. So the electrostatic force that is present is K. See, one charge is E. Other charge, the positive charge is also E only. Proton is E only. E square by
Yes.
Rn square. This is which law?
This is Coulomb's law.
Coulomb's law. Correct. Okay. Now see, this is Coulomb's law. And it is providing the centripetal force. And the formula of centripetal force is mv square by r. And what is the formula of Coulomb's law? The electrostatic force, it is K Q square
Okay.
by R square. Right now, Q is the same. So we can equate these two. When you equate mv square by R equal to K Q square by R square. See, one square will be cancelled, right? And if I
Yes.
write this K, if I'm going to write this K as 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught. So see, from here, I'm asking you, just tell me the velocity. Okay, let's leave it here also. First, tell me what's the radius. So what you will
Okay.
say, radius will be Q square is in the numerator, rest everything will be in the denominator, right? So look here,
Yes.
mv square by r is equal to kq square by r square. R is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught e square by mv square. All right. Now we have
Yes,
studied
ma'am.
that mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi. So you have the formula of v also, nh by 2 pi mr. Put this
Yes.
value of v in the radius formula. Okay. When you put this, see, this is that derivation, no, that you can just remember the steps and you'll be able to write it.
Okay.
This electrostatic force is providing the centripetal force. You should know the formula of electrostatic force. You should know the formula of the centripetal force. Equate both of them, you take out R. You get R. MVR is equal to NH by 2 pi. We have seen how. So get the value of V. Put this value of
Okay.
velocity in this third equation. Put it here. This is V. So put V square, N square, H square by 4, pi square, M square, R square. Because this is V square needed here. Okay, we'll square it and put. So look. When you put it here, see, the whole square term is there. When you put it, you get this equation. And when you put
Okay.
all the values, see, 4 pi will be cancelled. But epsilon naught has a value,
Yes.
right? 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12. This is the value of epsilon naught. Planck's
Okay.
constant also has a value, 6.63 into 10 to the power minus 34 joules. N square is variable, depends upon which atom is there, right? Which number
Okay.
of level is there.
Okay.
4 pi got cancelled only. And see, pi is there. So we know the value of 1 pi will be left. So 3.14. Mass of electron is also fixed. So like this, electronic charge is also there. So when you put all these values, except for n square, we have all the values that we can put in this formula. So you will get 0.529 n square angstrom or 0.529 angstrom n square into 10 to the power minus 10 meters. This is the formula of the radius. Easy? Clear?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Coming to energy, energy is also very easy. All these derivations are very easy. Radius we have calculated. Okay. See, I think usually the expressions are only there in your syllabus now. I don't think so this derivation is going to come. I'm just telling you this derivation so that you understand and remember the formula. The derivations are not there as far as I remember. Let me just check the syllabus. Wait.
Okay.
This is na atoms. Yeah, see, expression for radius, velocity, and energy. So just the expression you need to remember. I'm just telling you the method. So radius is this. Now kinetic energy is half mv square, right? Now half mv square
Yes.
is there. So see, this equation, when you put the value of mv square in this equation, mv square will be 2 times the kinetic energy. And we have seen kinetic energy is equal to the potential energy, right?
Mm. Yes.
So see, what is, let us see first kinetic energy. First kinetic energy, then we'll see potential. Half mv square is there. You've calculated the formula for v, put it here. You get it, half 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught e square by rn. Potential energy is there is a relation between potential energy and kinetic energy that can be established from here. See, remember this. This is important for you to remember. Remember this expression. Okay.
Okay,
That
ma'am.
is k e square by 2. Yeah. K e square by 2r. This is kinetic energy. I prefer to write K because it is easy to remember. KQ by RK. 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught makes your equation lengthy. So just I'm writing it here. This is the kinetic energy. Potential
Okay.
energy is minus Ke square by R. Okay. So total energy means kinetic energy plus potential energy. When you will add it, it will be minus Ke square by 2R. So write down these expressions, Maimuna. This will be easy for you to remember. Where you should
Okay,
not
ma'am.
know that K is 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught or 9 into 10 to the power 9. Okay. Just write down these expressions.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, Maimuna. Written? Okay, so yeah, the energies formula you have to write. Now, when all these values are put into the formula, all of these values, this was the formula that I was telling you. Minus 13.6 by n square electron volt. Okay. Now, when you will see that dual nature recording, you will see 1 electron volt is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 joules. So this is how you have to convert it also whenever needed. So n is what? N is this number. Like this is the nucleus. The first one is n. Second one will be n is equal to 2. Third will be n is equal to 3. All the orbits. So
Okay.
n means the first one. If I put 2, so that's why it is decreasing because it is inversely proportional to denominator. Fourth energy level will be having lesser energy. First will be having
Yeah.
minus 13.6 only. That's why we wrote E initial minus E final. Okay.
Okay.
So see, E1, E2. So if n is infinity, E will be 0. That is the maximum energy because energy is not positive. Rest
Yeah.
of it are negative, minus 13.6, minus 5.2, minus 3.4. So technically the only highest value is 0, not
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Okay, that's why, because of the expression. Now, energy quantization, electron can have only definite value of energy while revolve. That's what I was saying. Because you cannot have it in fraction, right? In 1, 2, 3, you don't have 1.5 or
Yeah.
2.5 orbits. So yeah, you put in the values, you get the values, minus 13.6. In fact, you write this also, Memuna, minus 13.6 z square by n square. What if, see, z is equal to 1 for hydrogen. What if hydrogen is not mentioned? Then you should know, no, that the formula. So this much of electron, this also add it in your register wherever you're right now writing it.
Okay, ma'am. Done, ma'am.
Okay. So E infinity minus E ground. Now ground state, and just understand excited state. The first orbit, this is called the ground state. N is
Okay.
equal to 1. When I say the electron is in the ground state, you should just know N is equal to 1.
Okay.
The next state after is called the first excited state.
Okay.
First excited state means N is equal to 2. N is equal to 2 is your first excited state. N is equal to 3 is the second excited state. N is equal to 4 is the third excited state. N is equal to 100 is the 99th excited state. One less,
Okay.
you can see because of this. Okay?
Okay.
So
Okay,
I think
ma'am.
this will come ahead also. Now, energy level diagram. So see, what is this energy level diagram? Basically, if you keep on putting the values of all the atoms till, let's say, the seventh one. One suggestion, Memuna, at least till fifth one, forget E6, E7. It's
Okay.
a huge suggestion for you and a very good suggestion to remember these values. These minus 13.6, minus 3.4, minus 1.5, minus 0.85, minus 0.54.
Okay.
Like the tables you learn in small classes, try to learn it. Why? You will see in the numericals, when you will solve the numericals, you will see plenty of the questions are involving this part, and you are wasting your time dividing mine 13.6 and you're writing 9 and 16 and 25 and 36 and all. So
Okay.
if possible, learn it till 7, but till 5 it's very common. That's why I was saying.
Okay, ma'am.
So these are the values. Now if you plot it, so you can see the gaps. See, minus 13.4. See, minus 13.6 is there, is N is equal to 1. There is one more. We know that this is minus 13.6. That is for N is equal to 1. Then 2. Then you can see this is minus 1.54. This, like this it is. Finally, it is 0 to infinity. So this is called the energy level diagram. Energy level diagram, just whatever was written to represent it mathematically. Okay?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, this was the line emission spectra and the line absorption spectra that was mentioned. But we'll come... Okay, let's discuss only so that your lines emission. See, line emission spectrum is what? All these things are very easy. Just remember the definition in one line. Nobody's going to ask you also that.
Okay.
After, see, here you should know, see, hydrogen line spectra, qualitative treatment is only there in your syllabus. Means you should just know the definition and those spectral lines which we are going to do now. So see, you can see your atoms, I think we have completed it till here. Only last topic is left. Okay, atoms is a very short chapter. That's why I'm saying dual nature atoms, so Thursday se pehle tak kar lena Maimuna. Whatever is the timing of the class there. What is line emission spectra? When an
Okay.
gas or vapor at low pressure is excited. Excited means it is jumping, right? One level higher. That's what we saw. By passing an electric current through it, the gas or the vapor usually emits radiation at specific wavelengths. So when this wavelength is
Okay.
emitted, that creates a spectrum. That spectrum is called the line spectrum. And you have very few bright lines on the dark background. What is line absorption
Okay.
spectrum? Just the opposite. When the white light passed through the gas or vapor, we observe bright against the dark. Okay. So dark
Okay.
line signifies the missing wavelengths or the wavelengths absorbed by it. So what happens is that, see, missing wavelengths are same as the wavelength present in emission spectrum. Every gas or vapor has its own characteristic emission or absorption. This is not important for you to remember. You should know what are these which are visible. Few things are there that you have to know, which lines or rays are visible. These are the emission lines. Okay, the line emissions that
Okay.
are present. If it is written properly here. Yeah. Lemon series, Western series, balloon series. I'll show you here. Wait. Hmm. take the screenshot first of this page, Memuna.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Now see, when the electrons move from any of the levels, infinite, first level, second level, third level. See, I have drawn till the sixth one, and then I have shown infinity. Means in between all the layers are there of the atom. Okay. Because it's impossible, no? Infinity tak thodi na drop aayega. So these are just showing that all the layers are there. So from anywhere, the electrons are coming back, but they are coming back to the first, that is the ground state only. This is called Lyman series. Okay. So electrons are coming from different orbits in the first layer. This is called Lyman series. N is equal to 2, Balmer series. So 1 N is unsure for us, that we don't know what is that N, but 1 N we already know. That final N we know, it is 1. For Balmer series, it is 2. For Paschen series, it is 3. All the rays coming from different orbits, but are stopping and coming at 3. Bracket 4. Fund 5. These 5 series you have to remember. Okay. Now that circular drawing which was mentioned,
Okay.
I'll show you this. See, this is a formula, Rydberg's formula. That's it. You have to remember in this only. So this Rydberg's formula actually gives 1 by wavelength. Okay. Or I'll see it's written in the notes clearly. So this I told you, the lines I told you. Yeah. So spectral series of hydrogen, don't go by this. Straight away, don't do that page entire derivation. Okay, that's why I wanted you to have this. Write it somewhere, page number 28. You don't have to do it. Okay, straight away remember this formula. What is this formula?
Okay.
This is 1 by wavelength is equal to, there's a constant which is called as the Rydberg's constant. See, Rydberg's constant. RHYD. Rydberg's constant. Okay, whose value is 1.0967, but usually it is written as 10 to the power 7. This is 1 only, no? 10 to the power 7 per meter. 1 by n final square, where the electron is coming back, which we know in series. If I say Lyman series, you should know that final is 1, because all of it is coming back to 1. And initial will be given in the question. So likewise, you have to calculate the wavelength. So questions are lengthy here, but at least you just have to remember the formula.
Yes.
So see, this circular manner, this is drawn, that you remember. See, from all the different orbits, n is equal to 1 is the final. So Lyman series. From all, if it is coming, n is equal to 2. N is equal to 2 means first excited state. Do one thing also, Memuna, just make this. Make it clearly. N is equal to 1. Write the ground state. Okay. And n is equal to 2 as the, just keep on writing this when I'm writing.
Okay.
First excited state. Similarly, n is equal to 3 is the second excited state. Just make this so you will remember, because excited states, these words are often mentioned.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Done, ma'am.
Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is what is written in this. Balmer series, Paschen series, bracket series, fund. You have to remember the names and their final and final. Okay.
Yes.
Initial can be anything. It will be given.
Yes.
Yeah. So it is given in detail here. So it is the series in which the spectral line corresponds to the transition of electron from some higher state to lower energy state. Here what we know is final n is equal to 1. That is the ground state. Okay. This is the ground state. You should, when you get them printed, write here as ground state. Okay. Full.
Okay. Okay.
Add it so that you remember that you have to add all these things.
Okay.
In this formula, you'll put. So if I want to get the longest wavelength, yeah, this is very important. Longest wavelength and shortest wavelength. You have plenty of questions, and these questions are very easy, Memuna. See,
Okay, ma'am.
longest wavelength, it seems that longest means very far, means infinite, n is equal to infinite. But no, see, longest wavelength means the nearest one. Like if all the electrons are coming back to 1, right? All the electrons are coming back to
Yes.
1. So 1 is there. No, sorry. All the electrons are coming back to 1 in the Lyman. No,
Yes.
right? In the Lyman series. I'm talking about the first one only, the Lyman series. So if this is the state, Memuna, just the next one is the will give you the longest wavelength. So you have n initial and n final.
Okay.
See, this is n final. Electron is coming from here. Why you didn't do a dual nature? There the formula of energy was hc by lambda. So energy is inversely proportional to wavelength. So when longest wavelength is asked, means shortest energy you have to tell. So if it
Okay.
is any, see, for Lyman n is equal to 1. You've understood this
Yes,
concept, whatever I have told you, that
yes,
light rays are coming. Sorry,
yes,
not light rays, the atoms, electrons are coming. This you've understood.
yes, ma'am.
See, just the next one. Suppose electron comes from here to here. This one, just the next one. Let's say if I'm talking about the next one, Balmer series. There the final one is not
Two.
1, it is second. Yes.
Yes.
The shortest wavelength will be calculated between second and third.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Why?
ma'am.
Because longest wavelength means shortest energy. So this is the shortest energy.
Yes.
And shorter wavelength means highest energy. So we take the infinity one.
Okay.
Okay. That's why in this formula, it is written n initial is 2. Final, we know it's 1 for Lyman. Final is fixed. This is fixed. In Lyman, remember, n final is equal to 1. This is fixed. Okay. So when you put, you get 4 by 3 RH. For shortest wavelength, you get 1 by RH. Tell me, Lyman series is clear to you, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's see Balmer series. Now, n final will be 2.
2.
Fixed. Yeah, so your n initial can be 3, 4, 5, not 1. 1 will be the below 1, no? Next, because it is
Yes.
coming back from
Yes.
higher to lower. So 3, 4, 5, put all the values, and n final will be 2. So when you
Okay.
put the longest wavelength, n initial will be just the next one, 3.
Yes. 3.
And shortest will be infinite.
Okay.
Next, Bastian series. So when you put, the final one is 3.
3.
N is equal to 3. So start from 4, 5, 6, etc.
Yeah.
So longest wavelength initial should be
Initial should be 4.
4. Because final is 3. So just
Yes.
before is 4. It is coming from 4 on. Right?
Yes.
4 to 3. That is the longest. And shortest is infinity. So remember one thing, when we learn longest, shortest, it comes to our mind. Shortest means the closer one, longest means infinity. Remember,
Yes.
energy is inversely proportional to wavelength. This will be clear only when you will study dual nature. One more thing I forgot to mention, the spectral line. Yeah. So you have electromagnetic spectrum, which you have already studied in your chapter 8. So remember that whatever electrons are coming in the Lyman series, they fall in the ultraviolet region of the spectrum. Okay? Ultraviolet region. The screenshot which you have taken, I think it is there all. For Balmer series, in the Balmer series, whatever electrons are coming to the third, to the second one, they are falling into the visible region.
Okay.
Bastian, bracket, Fund, infrared region. The 3 of them, infrared region.
Okay.
So Bastian, infrared region. Now Bastian was where the third one was there. That was stopping at the third one.
Yeah.
Next is bracket. Now you tell me, Memuna. And final should be?
And final should be 4.
The
5.
longest wavelength?
The shortest wavelength should be
In shortest infinity, longest?
longest will be 5.
5. So you just have to put in things in this formula. Okay. And this lies in the infrared region. That's it. This is what the entire chapter was about. So fund series, same thing. N is equal to 5, where the rays are stopping at 5. And initial is 6.
6.
Shortest wavelength. Shortest will be infinity only.
Infinity.
Because that is common for all. But where electrons are coming back, that is different. So the spectral lines you have to do, everything is written very clearly in the notes. Let's do the limitation of Bohr's model. So it explains the spectra of only hydrogen-like atoms. That's what I was telling in the starting. He did all the experiments in hydrogen. What about helium, lithium?
Yeah.
They're not having single electron. They're not odd electron species only or only single electron species. So it fails to explain the spectra of multi-electron atom. That's why there were limitations of Bohr's model also.
Yes.
When a spectral line is observed under a powerful microscope, it is found to coexist a number of closely spaced lines. This was done experimentally. Other phenomena, Zeek's effect, you have Siemens effects, you have Stark's effect, you have these things are deleted from your syllabus.
Okay.
That's why we are not doing this. So Bohr's model doesn't explain about these spectral lines.
Okay.
Okay, why there are closely spaced lines? There should be a reason. Are the number of electrons more, the energy is more, something should be there. And it does not explain the splitting of spectral line. Yeah, this I was saying. See, when the spectral lines are split in under the influence of magnetic field, these spectral lines, or the spectral lines which you've studied, Lyman, Balmer, वगैरह, when they are split in under the influence of magnetic field, that effect is called Siemens effect. And when they are influenced under the effect of electric field, they are the Stark effect. So right now you don't need to do these, but Bohr's model is there. So you should know the definition, limitation. So when it comes to writing, you have to mention all these things.
Okay.
And Bohr's theory defines the orbits in which an electron can revolve very precisely. That is, defines both position and momentum with complete certainty. Now, we did Heisenberg's uncertainty principle in dual nature.
Okay.
This will be clear when you do that. See, all these things all these chapters are linked. So Heisenberg's uncertainty principle was not given by it. It considers electrons as particles, but electrons exhibits wave nature also. We have studied this in dual nature again, wave nature, the particle nature and wave nature. So these points, see, this chapter will be very clear when you do dual nature. I think only 2 videos are there.
Yeah, 2 videos only, ma'am. 2
2 classes were missed by, just look at them.
Yes, okay, ma'am.
Yeah, excitation and the excitation energy. Excitations mean you are going to just the next level. Okay. So the process of absorption of energy by an electron so as to raise its level from lower to some higher level. That is called, that I told you, the first excited. This is called excitation when the electron is going. So basically, this will be very clear when you can calculate the energy from h nu, if you know.
Yeah.
Initial. You will have to get E final, whether you're getting it like this or you're using the formula minus 13.6 Z square by N square, anything. Change in the energy you have to calculate. That will be the excitation energy.
Okay.
And in chemistry, you must have heard of ionization energy.
Yes.
So when the electron is completely removed from the atom, means infinity, you've thrown it somewhere out. That energy is called the ionization energy. And the potential is the ionizing potential. So here you have the excitation or the excitation energy. Let me just, once this completes with the chapter, let me just show you this part here.
Yeah.
See, so this is how all the rays are coming: Lyman, Balmer, Paschen, Brackett, Fund. So I think I've repeated this a lot. You should remember something. For Lyman series, what all things are important? That the second one will be starting from 2, 3, 4 up till anything. But the first one will be 1. That is fixed in the ground state. Then we have the Balmer series where n is equal to 2 is the final one, which is the first excited state.
Yes.
Okay. First excited state.
Yes.
So n is, and also apart from this, you have to know their longest and shortest wavelength.
Yes.
3, 4, 5, 6, like this. This lies in the visible region. 2, you have to remember, rest of it, they are in the infrared. So n is equal to 3 means electrons are coming from different orbits, but they are finally coming to 3. They cannot go to 4. They cannot go to 2.
Yes.
That's why the initial is 4, 5, 6, and this is second excited state. Bracket is third excited state, that is 4. So lies in infrared region. Fourth excited state, that n is equal to 5, is the fund. This is important. Have a look. So this is what I had drawn. UV, visible, infrared for these. This is a very good way to remember. What is n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. These are the different values. I have told you, yeah, till E6, E5, remember. Siemens effect, excitation, energy. Yeah, this I wanted you to just take the screenshot of it. Ionization energy. The energy required to remove an electron completely from the atom, and ionizing potential is the accelerating potential to remove an electron out of the atom.
Yes.
So, 5 minutes are there, you can copy it. Or
okay.
You've taken the screenshot.
I took the screenshot.
So write it in the, take the printouts. So
Yes.
study in this manner. First take first 15 pages.
Yes.
Study dual nature, watch the video, whatever things you think it is rep. Or I think you should keep the notes with you. Play the video.
Okay, ma'am.
You have time till Thursday. You're not going to school, I think.
No, ma'am.
Take the way Memuna, that Zara has attended the class, attend it like this. Most
Okay.
of the things you remember with the videos only. So
Okay.
1.5, 1.3 hours will be like 80% of the syllabus is done.
Okay, ma'am.
And then you can just learn it by yourself. So I think by midday tomorrow only it will be completed.
Yes.
If you study after today's class also.
Okay, ma'am.
And then study atoms in detail. Whatever. Now you don't need to watch the video for atoms. You
Yes.
just study. Now
Yes,
in atoms, what is left? Some numericals. Okay. So 1 or 2 numericals we'll be doing here. See, most of the questions practicing we'll do after the completion of syllabus.
Okay, ma'am.
Because I don't want to disturb the completion of syllabus first.
Okay,
Atom is over. Now in the next class, we'll be doing nuclei. Okay. First, we'll do nuclei. And I'll try to take your extra class on Friday. So please have a gap so that on Friday, we complete the semiconductors. I want your syllabus to be completed by this week.
Okay.
Because we have to do the electrostatics part is also left, right? Many things are there. And Memuna, I'll tell you, lots of practice is required in these chapters. So we'll be doing lots of questions from dual. I have all the questions written. Okay. I have written them. Okay. I've already written them. I'm just waiting for the syllabus to over and for all of it. Dual nature also separate these numericals columns I have added. So it's filled with numericals. So it's